Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to the Business Bear Podcast. It's your favorite and your host, Connor Norman here, your business development specialist with Garrett County Business Development. You know, that's a long title. It's got a lot of words in it, and I think if I broke that down to an acronym, it would be just as long. Anyway, let's shoot into this episode. We're going to have an exciting guest on today where we'll be talking about Geographic Information Systems from our Garrett County Senior Planner, Sierra Wigfield. It's going to be great to hear from her in just a few minutes. But before we get there, let's do a little housekeeping. All right, folks, you know this podcast is endorsed by Garrett County Government and Garrett County Business Development. Remember, any opinions expressed by the host or their guest are their own and do not reflect that of any organization. All right, we're going to shoot into it. For those tuning in for the first time, we want to welcome you. This is your Garrett County Business Podcast where you can learn everything business in your backyard. We're going to shoot into talking with our guest today, Sierra Wigfield. Sierra, how you doing today?
Doing good, Connor, and you?
I am excited to have you in here. We're going to be talking about an exciting topic, a tool that people are underutilizing in our community that I think they will find a lot of benefit in. And I'm just happy to have you in here today to be talking about GIS systems in our community. Before we boil that down, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Tell them about you, your role with the county.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sierra Wigfield, the Senior Planner for Garrett County. I wear many hats. I do things from... my favorite things are transportation and park-related planning, but I also help with the comprehensive planning and kind of keep our eye on the horizon when it comes to Garrett County's future development. We also do some land preservation and some other programs, but one major role that I play here at Garrett County is maintaining our web maps or our Geographic Information Systems, and we call those GIS for short. We have a bunch of county web maps that are internal, but we are famous for our county public web map, which I think a lot of people take advantage of. The URL for that one is maps.garrettcountymd.gov, and it'll take you and redirect you to the latest and greatest county web map. We celebrated a relaunch of our web map, and we have like a slightly new face and some new features, and I'm looking forward to telling you about
Awesome. So. That is so cool. So you do a lot here. You're talking about multiple hats. These hats are huge, and you have a ton of them. So
stylishly. So
there you go. Always one of the most colorfully dressed people around the county building. You're not hard to find around here. Plus, you ooze enthusiasm about what you do. So again, thank you for coming in and telling us about this today. I think it's going to be an important subject. Again, a lot of people are going to learn from this. So let's break it down. I'm learning about Geographic Information Systems for the first time, or GIS for the first time. Tell me a little bit about what that means. What is a GIS system?
So GIS systems are essentially like digital mapping. And so you can do a lot with the digital mapping in terms of like analyzing things or taking... So you can overlay different layers. So you can have the roads layer and the floodplain layer, and you can have the address points or buildings, and you can build a map using all of that different information. And so the web maps allow you to toggle, I want to have the floodplain on or the steep slope map on, or I want to see the property boundaries.
Wow.
And allows you to see a lot of information, and we even have some nice links and stuff that I'll kind of break down for you whenever you visit our web maps. I'm sure a lot of people use digital maps all the time. Whenever you look at the weather or you go look up driving directions, you're already interacting with these systems.
I think probably the most famous is people can get on Google and use Google Earth or Google Maps, or maybe they're using their GPS on their Apple iPhone or maybe their Android. So I think a lot of people are maybe familiar with using this, but this takes things a step further. It adds information that almost seems like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I could know these things.
Yeah, we have a lot of like local knowledge and connections to other agencies and things that hopefully will make people's life a little easier and have information at everybody's fingertips. We try to provide the most recent data. So on our web maps, we have our addressing and center line. So whenever somebody has a new address that's assigned to them, it automatically shows up on our web maps.
Oh, cool.
We send that information to the tax office, the post offices, and we also send it to the state, which they disperse it. I also have regular updates to Google and a couple other mapping systems. So whenever we update our maps. We can share it with other people. I'm always interested in keeping up to date with that because it's nice when all of everybody's maps match. And it's I know it's troublesome when people change addresses or something's new and it's not showing up in the system, but we really try to do our best to stay on top of that. And that definitely keeps me on my toes and keeps my brain sharp because those systems are always getting newer and better and
Yeah, definitely
on the cutting edge.
awesome. So there's many things I can see if I go into the GIS maps. Let's say I'm a business owner and I'm looking to, maybe I've got a building already and I'm looking to expand on some property, but I've noticed that maybe there's a floodplain next door and I can't be moving that direction. Or I notice, oh shoot, I'm within a municipality. Or like, can I see those type of
Yeah,
layers?
so we have a lot of cool layers on our maps, and you can actually search. And there's like a little sandwich icon, is what I call it, because it looks like a little box with little boxes under it. So
Yeah.
call it the sandwich icon. If you open that up, you can see a whole layer list, and our new map actually has nested features, so it doesn't look so cluttered. And it also has a search function. So at the top in the search bar, if you're looking for property boundaries, you can just type in PROP and it should come up with our like property boundaries and tax maps. I also have the West Virginia tax map. So if you're on the boundary to West Virginia, you should be able to see the property boundaries in West Virginia as well and
Oh,
have a little
cool.
information on them. When you click on the tax map parcel boundaries, it'll bring up a little information card, and we update that on a monthly basis. And we link it into the state's tax assessment data. And so it'll
Okay.
take you to the link to the tax assessment data, tell you the most recent owner and some sale information, which the tax office keeps up to date. And we try to provide that information. There might even be some deed information on that page, so then you can dig a little further about looking up information on that property. And then my favorite thing that we've most recently done is in partnership with the health department and like 20 years of them scanning maps and data, we actually have a new link that says septic and well information on that tax parcel card, where you click it and it takes you to the septic and well permit for that parcel. So
Oh, wow.
it has like scanned documents from like they start in the 70s. Some of them go back as far as the 50s, and and now we're digitizing the data and moving forward. So
That is so
the
cool.
health department is actually using GIS in the field whenever they put new septic and well permits out in the wild, and we have better information on that. So we're it's been really exciting to see them use it and help decrease the amount of phone calls they get, because now real estate agents and developers and things, they can click on that property. It'll take them over to the documents, and they'll show you the hand-drawn maps. I even found some like where my septic field was in my property, so we don't build on top of it. And
Yeah.
our permits office uses that a lot. So if somebody wants to put a shed in or a garage, that way we're not over doing anything potentially harmful to the existing infrastructure.
Yeah. Now this is all publicly available information that gets put in the system.
That's all in the public.
Okay, so it's not being taken from anywhere private. This is just what's out there. It's all now conveniently collected in one space. So you don't have to hunt down different agencies or anything like that. We've done that for you.
Yeah, so I hope in the future that we'll be able to filter it out. So if you have like public water and sewer, the little link doesn't show up. But we do have a box where it says public utilities. You check that, and it actually gives you the the actual utility account number for that property, and tells you if it's active or not. And that's tied in with our billing system. So
Yeah.
that automatically gets updated. We have a really solid IT team. I like learning, and I try to stay sharp on this stuff, but our competent IT team, really, I wouldn't be able to do half this stuff if it wasn't for their backing. So.
I am a Neanderthal in comparison to these guys. They do an incredible work, and it is amazing what they're able to layer into that system.
Yeah.
And I always think of this from a business perspective. If I'm looking to maybe expand into the areas, and I talked a little bit about those layers that'll show you where everything down to maybe where water lines are.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm in or maybe the area I'm looking at is within a municipality. And all of these things are important. Information is power, right?
Yeah.
So if I know I'm going into an area, there are some things I can look into to make sure, okay, can my business exist within this zoning? And I'm sure it's got plenty of stuff that can show you and prepare
Yeah.
you for that.
Yeah, some other layers we do have is the zoning layer. And if you turn that layer on and you click on a piece of property, on that card, it'll actually tell you like what the zoning is. And there's actually links depending on, because there's different zoning ordinances for, the municipalities and Deep Creek
Yeah,
Lake.
definitely.
It'll actually link you to the correct document and the page where it will give you the use tables and the setbacks. So if you're like, how many feet do I have to be from the front of the property, or what are the conditions for, if I want to put a house in here, or want to put a commercial business in over here, it'll actually provide that information with those different codes.
That's so cool. I mean, can I even put something here?
Exactly. And so you can start that legwork on your own, and you can do a little, self-education before you have to give us a call. So you can do it after business hours or on weekends if you're looking at different property information.
Yeah, because really you don't want to be disappointed if you've got a dream of putting something in a particular area, or you might not even know you had the ability to do something maybe outside of what you've been told or understand.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that that's available here.
Then we have the priority funding areas, which is like areas that the county has looked to provide water and sewer infrastructure to continue to grow, as well as the enterprise zones, which have special tax incomes for businesses as well. I guess there's hopes to eventually put our business parks and more information about those on there, or have a separate mapping application. Some other features on the map allow people to go in and draw features. So if you want to make in a map and show somebody, there's a little paint icon, so you can draw polygons or measure things and actually make your own map. And there's a print button that allows you to save that as a PDF. So it makes it really easy sometimes for contractors or for other people who are doing projects to make their own map. Granted, those painted things aren't saved or anything. It's just for that instance when you have that map open. But it can provide you can save it to screenshot it or however, and it makes it accessible and shareable.
Cool. Now, let's say I'm looking at this map and maybe there's something that isn't correct about it. Maybe I've got a pond or something in my backyard that isn't quite showing up on this map. Are there ways to kind of inform you guys to let you know?
So currently you can just email me at my email address. It's swigfield, WIGFIELD at garrettcountymd.gov. Connor, be sure to put this in the show notes. But
of course.
But I do have intentions to expand our web maps and maybe even put a survey in there, so you can highlight an area, drop a point if something's not in the right location. We work with our tax assessment office whenever they have new subdivisions or when people draw lines or cut parcels apart or merge them. They send us an email as soon as those are approved, and we keep a queue and we try to keep parcel updates as updated as possible. It's tricky with a small staff, but we managed to pull it off. I don't know any other jurisdiction does it quite as well as we do in Garrett County. And also having the well and septic data on that card, we are the second jurisdiction in Maryland to have that. That's really
it is quite amazing.
Special,
and again,
special access to that information.
Yeah.
And the goal was to do it in one click, and I'm really happy that the health department and our team was able to pull that off. So
yeah, and you're right. It's a small team, but it is a mighty team because that data is up to date. Let me tell you, every time I've had to access it to help some of our business owners, or we're looking at prospects, it's been really nice to go into that system and see who current landowners are, to see where utilities are. Well and septic, very important thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, we also have the our latest aerial photography we have on there, which is paid by the state's 911 board, is from the spring of 2023. But we just had 3-inch pixel aerial photography flown for Deep Creek Lake and the greater Oakland area just in April 2025. So I'm very excited. We should be having that in our possession and should be showing those on our web maps very soon. When I say 3-inch pixel, I mean every color square on that map is equal to a 3-inch square on the ground. The current stuff you see on the website is a 6-inch pixel, which is very high resolution. You can see where manhole covers and stuff are. With the 3-inch pixel, you can see like where mailboxes are, and sometimes you can see like kind of make out the back of somebody's truck, like if they have a tire in it, you can kind of see that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Kid dropped ice cream on the ground, zoom right in.
Yeah, you can see, it's very interesting. Usually we fly those in early April before the leaves are on the trees so we can get a good view of the ground.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But in Garrett County, it's really tricky whenever they fly those, or like they email me, it's like, Sierra, is there snow on the ground still? So
yeah, that's a risk.
Yeah, there are some spots on there, like if you've noticed in the shadows or at the wisp, there's still like usually snow on the slopes. But generally they pick a good day to do them. But it's really great to have that resource and then have that on our maps as well. If you are looking for other sort of base maps and like those aerial photos, I have dreams of doing a historic one, but I think we have ones as far back as 2005. And you can access them. There's like a box with 4 squares in it that allows you to change the base map of the web map. So you can go and they are labeled the different aerial photos, or if you want a different topographic map or a hillshade. So the data that you're viewing, you can see that. That provides some information.
Absolutely. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Wow. So there's a lot of information at our fingertips. And like I said, I don't think a lot of people know about this to use it. So is this absolutely free to use?
Totally free to use. Anybody can go using their phone or their computer to maps.garrettcountymd.gov, and it'll redirect you to like a URL with a bunch of gobbledygook, but usually I just get the shortened redirect URL, and that'll always be the latest and greatest map. There'll be a splash screen saying like we try our best to make the data as accurate as possible, and as everybody knows, everything changes, so it's work to keep up with it. But like I said, we have some systems that are automated, and the ones that require our manual attention, we try to make sure we have time and bandwidth to keep those up to date. So I'm really excited, and I'm hoping we can even create like more of a dashboard or provide other layers for other people to add to the map in the future, or have like other web maps. Like we do have one for our solid waste and recycling site that's a public web map, the election districts and the polling places, as well as a map for our ATV and snowmobile permits, so you can see what is a county-owned road, which you're allowed to be on.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, make those maps better so you can see what is public property, private property, and kind of make that information a little clearer for our users. So
nice. So where do you see this thing going?
It kind of depends on. I stand on the shoulder of the giants. Our GIS program, which has been going on since I found like records back from 1995 when we started with doing new 911 addressing, which is like a really old program. So it's over 30 years old. And so my predecessors, like Debbie Carpenter and G.V. Churchill, carry on their really good work. So, and they were actually like GIS, their job was GIS. So I'm always happy whenever I have some help maintaining our maps and stuff.
Yeah.
But as a planner and having the information at my fingertips and to be able to communicate with maps to people is really important. So I find it valuable to keep up with these tools. And also I know the people in our office who do building permits or some other job functions, that the maps are on their screens on a daily basis, making their jobs easier.
Definitely. It's on mine almost all the time.
Yeah. I guess there's some other search features you can look up by your tax account or by map and parcel as well. There are things that are related to the tax assessment data. So Those
Okay.
are features that you can look up on our web maps.
So if somebody wanted to learn more about this, do you have tutorial videos?
Yeah, so there's actually a GIS Day, which we celebrated the 25th anniversary of GIS Day, which is funny since our program is 30 years old in Garrett County. So we've proceeded.
We were ahead of the game, as usual.
Ahead of the game. It's super cool. It's one of those things where Garrett County definitely works smarter, not harder. So we work hard too.
Very cool.
But we had a public virtual workshop where I kind of demonstrated all of these features on our web maps, and that is still up on our website. And it provides like a half an hour tutorial on where these buttons are, how to search, and kind of demonstrate these features. And if anybody has any issues, I'm always happy to give them a little tech support over the phone, or the other people in the office do that. We also try to do trainings with like different real estate agents and those realtor groups, so they can have access to the tools and make their lives easier, and they can answer their clients' questions as well.
Yeah, definitely. So cool. So again, where would they go to access these maps one more time?
Yeah, so it's maps, MAPS, GarrettCountyMD.gov.
Excellent. And they can access the tutorials through the GarrettCountyMD.gov website.
Yep.
Awesome. That is so cool. Sierra, I think this is some valuable stuff. I really appreciate you coming in here and sharing this with us today. Again, I think a lot of people aren't taking advantage of it, maybe don't even know it exists. Yeah. Maybe they're going through the hard way to get this information through 5-6 different organizations. Now they can get it all layered in front of them in a super convenient way. Now, is this accessible from a cell phone, from a laptop? Can I access it anywhere?
Yeah, it's definitely better for the desktop application, but I'm working on making sure that the mobile user has a good experience. It's a little different because you have less screen and to display stuff on, so it makes it a little tricky. But currently it works, but we're always working towards making those things
nice. So we'll say it's mobile friendly, getting even friendlier.
Yes, exactly.
But definitely optimized if you're on a computer or desktop, where you can access it the most. And whether that's at the library or they have a personal device, they can always get access on it by going to maps.garrettcountymd.gov.
Correct.
All right, awesome. So hey, I think that's excellent. At the end of every episode, I kind of give each one of my guests some time to put an extra plug in there. Maybe you want to reiterate what we've talked about with GIS today, or maybe you want to say, hey, this is what we can look forward to coming up. Maybe we need to plug a future episode here. Open the mic and give you the time. What do you want to say?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm always excited to share with folks that are great maps, and I'm really happy to carry our mapping products along and try to keep them up to date and accurate for people, so they can, we can provide transparency and people can have information at their fingertips. And we're always trying to make our maps better, and just be on the lookout for more buttons on our web maps and potentially like spin-offs of our main web map for other applications. So
nice. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sierra. I appreciate you coming in here and talking with me about this today. I know we're going to have you on future episodes to talk about way more.
Yeah.
But appreciate you coming in today, and we appreciate all of our listeners to the Business Bear podcast. Thanks for coming along for another journey and listening and learning about something really cool we have available right here in our backyards in Garrett County. For those that want to listen to more episodes of the Business Bear podcast, be following us on our social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, X, LinkedIn. Check us out there. Again, be tuning in to find out when the latest episode of the Business Bear podcast will drop, and all the fun things happening in your business community. So, folks, good to have you along. It's Connor Norman, your business development specialist. I'll see you all on the other side.